Hey everybody, welcome to the World of Dragons podcast, the podcast where 2.5 dragons get together to discuss dragon-related media. That includes, but is not limited to, books, games, and TV shows.
It's 1.5 dragons today.
We've lost a dragon.
Yeah.
He will be missed. Dilettante just... life is getting to Dilettante. Job stuff. Not going to go into detail without his permission, so we'll just, leave it at that. But hopefully he can join us again next time.
It's our scheduling. Our scheduling is tight as it is, so it's like we just have to roll with the punches. Like when we got COVID, everybody was out, so it was like, yeah, we push it.
Oh yeah, I'm just barely getting over that. So this is going to be like a late apology because the previous episode will already be out by the time this one goes out too. But everybody who was confused why the last episode was uploaded late, it's going to be 2 or 3 days late. I got absolutely hammered by COVID the day after we recorded it. And so I didn't get to editing for a long time.
Yeah.
I just barely started getting better in time to record this episode. I even still have some sniffles, so I'm going to go... I'll be deleting it in the audio, so take my word for it, but I have permanent sniffles that are going to probably, according to my friends who have had it before, persist for another week.
Yeah. I when we got COVID, I got hit first, and I got the full range of, the perpetual cold, uncontrollable shaking, fever. And then as I started getting over it, that's when Ray got it.
Yeah, my symptoms were just delayed by 2 or 3 days, but they hit me harder than they hit anybody else in the household.
Yeah.
It actually got to the point where I went to the hospital to get checked out to make sure that it's not getting, it's not actually going to hurt me or anything. It was hitting me hard.
Yeah. I honestly just don't think you've ever been that sick before.
I usually am or not. When I usually get sick, it's this is unfortunate. I'm going to eat some oranges and I will feel better in 3 days. So this is the first time I've actually suffered. So I could also just have been a big baby about it.
Yeah. I mean, not going to judge you. COVID
should never judge anybody for sickness. Well, everybody suffers differently.
Yeah. Not saying that I would it make fun of someone, haha, you're sick, but
just listeners, make sure you go get your boosters.
Yeah. Get your we were both
Bantam and I have the initial shot, but we never got any boosters, so we
got both vaccinations. We did not get the booster. Mostly because it was done.
I only remember getting stabbed once.
Oh, you got the one that's only once. I had to get the double.
Oh, you had the two-parter. Yeah,
I
had Johnson & Johnson, so I only got the single stab.
Yeah, I got Pfizer, I think, or no, Moderna. I don't know. Doesn't matter. So yeah, where he's still physically recovering from it, although I'm almost 100% fine.
The point being, this is a delayed apology because recording versus uploading time dilation. Delayed apology for sorry that the schedule has been weird lately, but yeah, we all got sick.
Yeah. Goddamn Omega Mart.
Anyway, this episode, we are going to be doing 2 things that should be relatively small, each of them. That's why we're doing a double feature. We're doing the...
My Father's Dragon on Netflix.
Yeah, that's what it's called. My Father's Dragon. Thank you. Which is a Netflix adaptation of an old book series, kind of, but I think it's just mostly the first book. But the initial age rating for the book was 4 to 7-year-olds, so...
It was a good movie, but
I'm just saying, I don't know how close it's going to be to the original book, how...
Well, they probably
faithful.
Filled in a lot of
probably. There's probably a lot of differences because of that. I've never read the original book, but yeah. And then we will also be doing our reviews and thoughts on the demo of Glyde, which is the spiritual successor to Spyro, I think. I think that's what they're touting it as.
Yeah, Glyde.
What's the studio name? By Valefor Games.
Valefor Games, which has a really sexy dragon head for their logo too. So
I don't think I've seen their logo.
It's in when you first start the game up. It's a red dragon, and it's a very handsome red dragon.
If only Dilettante was here to combat that. But yeah, I think let's do Glyde first, and then we'll do, quote, the spoiler break, just so I have an excuse to use my music, and we'll do the...
Yeah, there's not really anything
then.
to spoil in Glyde, so
yeah,
that
because
sounds perfect.
they purposefully stripped out all of the lore, most of the dialogue, and so on and so forth, because they do not want to spoil the game for the people who play the demo, because this was a demo of a demo. It's the test build of a test build that is given out to their patrons. So it's really still early rough.
Yeah.
And all that.
If anyone from Valefor Games is listening, we do thank you profusely for the we're gonna call them review codes, even though it's the Patreon build that all the patrons got. But yeah, we will talk about Glyde first, because there's not really anything to spoil.
If we actually got review codes, like, here's the full game 2 weeks before release, so you can have your review out the day the game goes live. It's like, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yes, so we'll do Glyde first, then we'll do the short music number, and then we'll do the Netflix show.
Ray likes doing his music number.
I love it's like one of my... out of the 3 music tracks that I use for the show, I think it's my second favorite.
Is it still the one from Caketropolis?
No, that's the intro. And that's actually my least favorite of the 3, not because the Caketropolis is a bad soundtrack, but just because I feel like the music itself doesn't fit the feel of our show. Like, it should be more adventurous and more wonderful, less sleuthing.
Yeah. All right.
So Bantam, initial thoughts.
So
if you just sum up your experience in like 2 sentences, so just initial thoughts.
All right, initial thoughts. If you liked Spyro, you're going to love this game. It is a spiritual successor to Spyro, but it does almost everything better. I know that is probably blasphemy to Spyro fans, but from playing the remastered Spyro trilogy to playing this demo, I would much rather play Glyde. It is the Dark Souls of Dragon games.
This truly is the Dark Souls of Dragons games. Were you in the stream when I made that joke?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
so you stole my joke.
The thing is well, everyone was making it at the exact same time. But the thing is it does have a stamina bar,
which I think only goes down for
special
and
attacks.
Dodges.
Yeah,
it doesn't go down for running
or basic
or flying
attacks
or anything like that.
But yeah, imagine Spyro with a much more robust combat system that actually feels rewarding.
Now, to be fair, we've only played the original Spyro plus its remake, and a lot of people say this is a bit closer to the Dark Legacy Spyro, Dark Trilogy, whatever you call it, the Legend of Spyro.
Again, I blasphemy to Spyro fans. I did not like that trilogy. I didn't like the Sparks having a voice and being a character, and I didn't like the grimdark setting for what was a colorful...
I've never played the Legend of Spyro, the Dark Trilogy, whatever you want to call it, to differentiate those stuff with Cinder. I never played it, with like the exception of, I think I rented it from Blockbuster, aging myself there. I rented one of the games from Blockbuster like it would have been like 15 years ago, whenever the fuck I was 16. And I played it on my Wii, because I think there's a Wii version, and I think I played like 20 minutes and then never touched it again because other stuff took my attention. I think I rented like 5 different games, because this was the first time my parents let me have a game system and a TV in my room, and so I just went crazy. I was like, being grown up is wonderful. But it was the one where you start out with Spyro and Cinder being chained to each other, but with magical colors.
Oh, yeah. I hated that.
Which I don't even think that was that the first of the trilogy?
No, that was the second, because the first of the trilogy... I started
in the middle on accident.
The first of the trilogy, the final boss was Cinder. And when you defeat her, she gets turned into a little, like, Spyro chibi form. And then you're chained together for the second game.
Okay, so I actually started in the middle. So good thing I didn't play it then. Because then this would ruin the ordering. Like, I need to find a way to play it now and play it in the proper order.
I mean, I have them.
Yeah, I heard that they also were released on PlayStation 2, which will be a bit easier to...
Yes, and I have
emulate
them.
At that point. Fingers crossed, it works completely fine, because there have been a couple PS2 games I've tried to emulate, mainly Dark Cloud, that start to lag at certain points, so fingers crossed. But I'll get to those eventually. Yeah. Point being, people say it's closer to Legend of Spyro. We haven't played it, but compared to the original Spyro, combat is much, much, much deeper.
Yeah.
So it's not just headbutt thing and then dies.
Yeah, it's because Spyro, it's headbutt and flame breath, and that's it. Those are your two.
And everything dies in one hit.
And everything
maybe
dies.
2 if you're lucky.
Well, bosses have 3 core hits. So yeah, in Glyde, you have basic attack, you have heavy attack, you have a light breath and a heavy breath attack. Then when you hold left bumper, it activates a menu where you hold left bumper and press the face buttons, triangle, square, circle, X, and do other special attacks based on the element that you're currently using, or elementless, whatever. But yeah, it is a very robust combat system, and that was the first thing that stuck out to me. Was, aside from the appearance of Glyde himself being a much more realistically proportioned dragon, the combat was fucking amazing.
Yeah. I guess really fast, my initial thoughts before we start getting deep down into all of them. It's really good. Quotation marks, I hope there's more, which obviously there is, being a demo, but you understand what I mean when we get into the nitty gritty talking points.
Yeah, there were never mind, I'll bring it up later.
Yeah. I should have written down a list of bullet points to make sure I don't miss anything, but we're just gonna go seat of our pants. Let's go. Bantam, what do you think about the visuals? I mean, the designs of the dragons, the enemies, the design of the world, the visuals.
So the designs of the dragons are beautiful. Like I said, I love the fact that you can still realistically believe that Glyde can't fly, like full flight, but his wings are proportioned to the sense where gliding actually makes sense. I liked the design of Glyde. I love the designs of all the other dragons that are in the game. But I don't know if this is right or wrong, but it almost feels like they're people's OCs. Because some of them are, look at me, I'm special dragons. They do look like people's OCs, do not steal. You get to the nature area and there's a half wooden stag dragon, who looked really cool. I liked him the most. There's one laying next to a pool that looks aquatic. Then you get to the fire area and there's a fire dragon and stuff like that. So the designs of the dragons, absolutely amazing. The visuals of the world, I assume that Valefor Studios is basically an indie studio. I don't think that they're a AAA thing.
I'm assuming that
this game looks...
everything is indie unless they're one of the big 5.
Yeah, this game looks amazing. The world building, the graphics look phenomenal.
I just don't want to start cutting you off. I like how Glyde looks. However, everybody in the game calls him orange, and he does not look orange. He looks gold to me.
He's yellow.
He's totally
gold.
yellow. Yeah. So if you want him to be orange, because for a lot of reasons the orange color is special, I think you need to change his hue a bit.
Yeah, he looks yellow.
All the other dragons look fine. However, they've all been about the same size as him.
There's been a couple that were bigger than him,
but only slightly, right? So first question that one of my viewers, Comrade, had when he was watching me stream the demo. How old is he? Just kind of out of curiosity. Like in Spyro was a kid, and then everybody else was adults. Is Glyde a kid, and is everybody else a kid? That's why they're the same size. Personally, I'm hoping that there are bigger dragons out there, like elders. I haven't played the Legend of Spyro series, but I've seen screenshots and I've seen video clips, and I know that what are their names? Valefor and Ignis and whoever the heck.
Yeah.
They're big boys compared to Spyro, and so I'm hoping there are larger elders in the game. Just because if not, with how big Glyde is compared to these little goblin undead people and whatnot, it just seems, just in general, the dragons are very small. And to me, dragons should always be large and imposing. So I want Glyde to be a child, and I want there to be bigger dragons out there.
I'm purely saying this as a joke, but the entire game takes place on a training island, and only dragons worthy of growing up escape the island.
Only worthy of growing up? Do they just fucking off you?
Yeah. If you don't make it off the island, you just die. You become undead.
How? What's your source?
I don't know. There's no story, so I can make up whatever I want.
You're just saying this is okay. This is your.
Yeah.
This is a guess. Okay.
I
thought there was like a tweet that I missed at some point. I was like, holy shit!
I don't even.
That got dark really fast.
I don't even have a Twitter, so. There is one. Should we wait on complaints?
If they have to do with the visuals, then we put them in now.
No. I have no complaints on the visuals. The lava looked amazing. The water looked really good.
Yeah. As far as the environment, it looks all right. It looks normal. It doesn't look that special because to me, it looks like every other freaking Unity engine, Unreal Engine game or Unity Engine game or whatever. Which is like, I don't know. That sounds harsh. It's pretty, but it doesn't like stand out. A lot of things do kind of blend in with each other. I spent like half an hour trying to find a stupid crystal to unlock my water form. So I actually appreciate Spyro's more cartoony look because things kind of stand out and pop a bit more.
All right, here's my counterpoint. Ray doesn't play as many games as I do. No,
I feel like that's a lie.
Okay, you play more different,
more stylized games,
but I play more games along this vein.
That's true. You play more games like this, like Assassin's Creed and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The games I play are definitely more stylized. They tend to be top-down games because I'm controlling whole armies, or they're card games, or.
So
whatever.
The reason I bring this up is because one of the things that I hear people say a lot is, well, I mean, Unity or Unreal does that. And it's like, you know what? I have seen so many games by studios that probably had triple or quadruple the funding of whatever Valefor Studios is getting that looked worse using the same tools. So if they're able to take the same tools that everyone has access to and make something this pretty, whereas apparently other studios are just incapable of doing, then kudos.
Let me amend my sentence then. It looks good, as in I can tell they put in effort and it looks good, right? But it didn't look special to me in the sense that it just looked normal. Not bland, but like nothing popped like.
So I think part of that is because there were no buildings.
That may have helped. There was only a couple of ruins.
It was just nothing but a couple ruins or whatever. But like in Spyro, one of the things was there was lots of building and architecture everywhere, so that the world felt more lived in. Yeah,
that's probably a good way to put it. Also, maybe we just didn't get far enough in the demo to see the cool stuff.
Yeah, maybe, or it's not even in there. But before I forget, there is one complaint that I had, which. It's not really much of a complaint because it might be fixed when the game actually releases. Because keep in mind, we did play a Patreon build test demo.
Everything is subject to change. There's actually a dragon at the beginning that when you talk to him says, "If streaming this is okay, but make sure everyone understands this is a test build and stuff will change." And
yeah, they actually have a watermark on the top right of the screen that says it's a test build too.
Yeah, the fourth wall was completely shattered that day.
It's fine that they do that because but the one complaint I have is the enemies have way too much fucking health. And someone reasoned that the reason for that might be because they want you to be fighting for a long time, because if they're going to find any, I think Comrade mentioned that if there's any bugs to be found in combat, it will be found because the battles take fucking forever. And I watched Ray struggle for like 45 seconds against a giant skeleton with a shield. And it's like, enemies should not be that tanky and should not take that much health to kill. And I really hope that's getting tuned down when the game launches, because that's the one thing that I will say that between Glyde and Spyro that I much prefer with Spyro. Everything has one hit point. It's like if you get hit, granted Spyro also only has X amount of hit points. It's like 4.
Three colors of sparks, then no
sparks
dice, and you're dead.
Yeah, and then you're dead. So 4 hit points. Glyde has a hit point pool which starts at 2,500, which seems
and 50.
2,550.
Yes.
So it's like I really hope all that stuff gets crushed down when the game launches.
You want a number squish?
I want a number squish because starting the game, starting the game with 2,550 health seems like a weird arbitrary number. And then when it takes more than a minute to kill certain enemies.
Yeah, I think I drowned on purpose at one point, just wondered, like, what happens if the air meter runs out? Do you just instantly die, or do you just start taking damage? The answer is you start taking damage, but you take 500 damage per tick, so it's like, that feels like
a lot.
You might as well be playing with a hit point pool of 100 and be taking, like, 10 damage per tick.
Yeah.
It's like...
I actually fell in the lava because I misjudged a jump, and I couldn't get out. I tried jumping out of the lava and I just couldn't do it, so I just watched as my health went tick, 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 dead. And I was like, all right.
Now, who knows? Again, this is a tech demo. Maybe the numbers are the way they are because of mathematical reasons. Like, it turns out that in this other zone, there are these abilities that do these numbers of damage, and therefore you need to have whatever, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it matters. But yeah. Remember how I said most of my complaints are quotation marks, I hope there's more?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, words. As far as visuals go, the I hope there's more is I hope there's bigger dragons, so they're not just all this size, because they seem very small, and to me dragons are always big. But also I hope that some of the other zones in the full game are dragon architecture, because one of my complaints with Spyro was always the lack of, like, NPCs.
Yeah.
Sure, you save them from the crystal, but then they disappear, and it's like, it's whatever. And so in this, there's dragon pieces all over the place. There's so many hiding in little nooks and crannies you can talk to, a lot more dead on the floor. But, like, with a world with this many NPCs, there should totally be, like, a dragon village. And, like, here's a fort with some dragons in armor because they're being guards trying to hold the corruption at bay.
Yeah.
And here's a marketplace, and here's I want to see architecture because I want to see the world that they live in. Rather than it's just like, hey, here's a sandbox forest where you can just go and beat up enemies.
Yeah.
Again, I understand this is a demo. This is just I hope for the full release.
Yeah, and nothing that we're gonna say positive or negative about this game is anything that we think is going to just like, oh god, the game's blah blah blah. It's like we both understand this is a demo. This is just what we're hoping to see changed.
Yeah.
But
I also understand that I do not understand the woes of game development, and a lot of my wish list here is going to be entitled game player wish list. Like,
yeah.
Give me more of this. Like, we can't put more of that. It's too hard. And I'm like,
Yeah, I also want to go back. I want to go back to the enemies having too much HP thing because Treecenix in our studio audience actually brought up something that I completely forgot, which is the combat does have a Devil May Cry style where you...
Oh, yeah, when you start fighting, you get a combo counter.
Yeah, and if that... And for realizing that is true, it worries me, because that means, yeah, they're going to want enemies to have a lot of health so you can do your cool combos, but I really hope that they still tune it down. Because
honestly,
I don't like Devil May Cry. I never did. I liked the aesthetics of the game, like the monsters and the character design and the gameplay, but I hated how brutally hard combat got later on in the game, where if you don't master all these combos and keep an enemy juggled in the air forever, you lose. And I hate that shit.
It can maybe be, like, work out better. Personally, right now, from what I've seen of the demo, just from what I know right now, the Devil May Cry style combo counter, I feel is completely unnecessary. Because when I get into a fight and they start saying, like, your score is dragon, and then I get a couple hits and it's like elder, and then it says sentinel, and then it's like whatever, it's like, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
I'm not getting extra points at the end of this. It's not giving me extra experience. It's not giving me extra whatever the crystals are. It feels unnecessary.
Yeah, it really
like, it's
does.
just a way to make you feel good, which is fine, I guess. Hope maybe in the full game it matters. Maybe you will actually have, like, a skill tree with experience points, and the better combo you get, the more experience you get.
I think the more combo meter you get, the faster your super charges up, honestly.
Maybe. It wasn't super obvious, and so hopefully they point that out in the tutorial in the full game if that's the case.
Yeah.
But right now it feels unnecessary, and it does lead to spongy enemies, which I don't want them to be that spongy.
Yeah, it got to the point. So I watched Ray streaming, and I can actually see where a lot of these will become problems later, which is the enemies are so spongy in certain areas that you just end up running by everything. You just don't fight anymore.
Oh, I got tired of fighting and started running by everything.
Yeah,
but that's also because without a skill tree or experience points or anything, it felt unnecessary.
Yeah, it's like
I don't have to kill these guys. I'm going to go around and try to find this crystal I can't seem to find.
You had so much money. You had so much money and nothing to spend it on, and it's like
Yeah.
there's no point to fighting then.
I guess we're segueing from visuals into combat because I will say that I think the Devil May Cry style counter isn't necessary, but I love the combo gameplay. I wish there was, this is again entitled Gamer Wish, I wish there was a bit more nuance to the combos rather than just here's your light combo and here's your heavy combo and you can swap from one to the other halfway through. I would like a combo system more akin to the Muso games like Dynasty Warriors or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Again, one of my favorite games growing up was on the Xbox 360 and was called 99 Nights. It was N3. It was such a good game. I loved it. And I got a lot of 99 Nights vibes from Glyde from different things. But 99 Nights had a level system where at level 1 you had these combos. You could do I'm just gonna use PlayStation buttons. You can go like triangle. Triangle was a move, and square was one. But so you could then go square, square, triangle, and you would do different moves. It wasn't just swapping from one combo to the other. And when you hit level 2, you unlocked more combos. And when you got level 3, you unlocked more combos. And eventually you're going like square, triangle, square. And it's like this really big zippy dashy move. Like the combos got insane. And I think, again, spoiled gamer wish list, I think that would be a lot more fun and add more nuance to the combat. I don't have a lot of Devil May Cry experience. I tried playing a couple of the games, but I think their combos are similar, where the more experience you get, or the farther in the game, the more complicated combos you start to unlock. Because I seem to remember one of the games that I tried, you for 10,000 blood gems, you can unlock this combo, but I can't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will forgive Spongy Enemies. Also, another similar game was one of the Lord of the Rings games. I think it was Return of the King. I played it on the GameCube. You could play as Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, Gandalf, whatever, and you had combos, and the combos could do fun things. It was like, push these buttons, and then there's another game for PlayStation 1, Jedi Power Battles, where you could gain levels and unlock combos, and it's like, this combo is square, triangle, O, and then whatever. Point being, combos are fun when it's not just two different strings that can be flipped halfway through.
So you barely played it enough, but that what you were talking about reminds me a lot of Lord of the Rings: War in the North, where you do light, heavy, and you're trying to break an invisible guard on the enemies so you can execute them. And depending on how many enemies around you are ready to be executed, you can do a really cool special move.
The special bar, when you fill up your blue bar, you push both triggers and you completely obliterate the screen.
Oh my god.
I love it. Thank you so much. It makes me so happy.
It is absolutely over the top, and don't change it.
But in a beautiful way.
Don't change it.
You could, if you wanted, you could make it bigger.
You could make it bigger.
Again, me referencing my favorite game of all time, 99 Nights. It was a Muso game, so you're going around hacking and slashing, using combos, killing thousands of people because the maps are that big and the armies are that big. And the whole point of the Muso style gameplay is I am an unstoppable warrior who's felling thousands of people before me. A single swing of my axe kills 5 people. It's like that's the style of game.
Yeah.
And those games always have an ultimate move. In the original Dynasty Warriors, it was called your Muso meter and your Muso attack. I don't remember what they called it in N3, but N3 had 2 such bars. The first one was red, I think, and as you filled it up, then you could do your special attack, and it was like, oh, I'm gonna unleash a wave of light that washes across the screen and annihilates all these enemies here, which is great. And somebody else gets to do like a real big like a tidal wave, because there was a water mage and she did an actual tidal wave or something. I can't remember all their moves. It's been so long. I want to replay the game, but I can't. My Xbox 360 is dead. And it never really made it. The game is broken on emulators, like the camera freaks out, and it never got remastered for digital release.
If you need an Xbox 360, I still have a working one in my room. It's been there for years.
Oh, I might take you up on that. But yeah, point being, they had the first bar for special attacks, and if for everybody you killed with that special attack, it would fill up your blue bar. So there was another layer to this, and they made it so difficult to, like, you would maybe get to use your blue special attack once in an entire mission. But it was so disgustingly broken. The goblin character who was aligned with the air element, his blue special meter was literally a nuclear explosion, but it was just condensed air. He just like backflips, and then just the camera pans so you can look farther back and just boom, just leveled everything.
Like a fuel air explosion.
Yes.
Yeah, where it just like combusts all the air in a contained area. I fucking love that.
Oh, it was so beautiful. Yeah, it makes me feel. It tingles my feel goods.
Yeah, there was a game on PS2 that I played called Gun Griffin Blaze, and it was a mech game, but it had an attack like that called the fuel air explosion. And when you fired it, it literally just turned all the air into fire, and so everything exploded.
Yeah, the main character on the box art, I remember her base level Muso attack was, as long as you hold the button, you just dash, like you dash around going slash, 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 and you can change direction, you just slash people. One hit kills everybody as you're basically samurai slashing them. And her blue attack was where she holds her sword up in the air, calls down like 1,000 threads of light, and each thread of light can go and find somebody and like pierce through them and instantly kill them. So it's just, so good.
It sounds like a god attack.
That's the point. That was the entire point of the blue level.
So I was watching Ray streaming the game to our Discord, and I missed the first time he used the fire one, but I did get to see it after. But he used the lightning special, and it created this orb of pure lightning that struck down, and then giant bolts of lightning in a gigantic radius around him, and it was pulling all the enemies into the central spire of lightning, and then just melted their health. And when he switched over to Fire Element and did the special later, it's the same thing. It literally looked like a mini nuke. It was just a giant ball of fire that enemies got gravity pulled into and then exploded.
Yeah, my spoiled gamer complaint would be that between the fire and the lightning, which is the only two I've managed to do so far, they are basically the same thing. There's no difference. They're just screen-wide nukes. And it's like, can we have some different, like, I hope, like, the air, I'm pretty sure the air form
will
special
be a
attack is just it's going to be a screen-wide nuke. It's going to be the spell circle appears on the floor, and then explosion of air or a big twister or something, just boom. It's like, wouldn't it be cool if instead the air form was you just dash around and just murder everything?
Just
like
anime style teleport behind you, nothing personal, kid. Whereas the lightning one could be you unleash a devastatingly powerful lightning bolt that bounces X amount of times between all enemies.
Chain lightning, yeah.
But if it's only one enemy, then it just hits them over and over and over.
Yeah, the ice... Yeah, it's gonna be just a screen nuke, but like the ice could be freezing everyone solid, and then you get a bunch of free hits on them. I don't know.
And if you manage to kill someone, then they shatter and deal AoE damage to everyone around them.
Yeah, which kind of segues into this thing that they advertise. So they say on their Steam page, use 8 elemental forms with more than 60 different abilities, and it's like, yeah, I guess there would be 60 abilities just by nature of the different forms, but they'd all be very samey. Again, tech demo, there may actually be a skill tree where you can unlock new abilities and you get to pick which ones you want in your repertoire. But so far, the ones you got in the demo, everybody had a breath weapon, which functioned the same. Everybody's R1 plus O was a dash attack of some kind. Everybody's L1 plus square was some sort of uppercut move. It's like, yeah, you might have 60 abilities, but they are all just different flavors of the same thing.
Yeah, it was what flavor do you want to kill the enemy in. I will say that I like the fact that Glyde himself changes appearance.
That was really good, and I love that.
Yeah, because, like I know that Ray hated it, but when we played Drakan, Arok can learn all sorts of elements, but all it does is just fire a different projectile out of his mouth. His physical form never changes. And it's like, I'd like to imagine... I mean,
it doesn't have to. It comes down to the individual game's lore,
well,
honestly.
I imagine that with a magical creature like a dragon, if you're switching an element and you're going to fire lightning, it's like your body would reflect that more. Otherwise, it could backblast onto you.
Again, it depends on the lore of the game. It's anything from like I'm just like, to use like a D&D example, a wizard can cast Fireball. He doesn't engulf himself in flames, and if he casts Ice Storm, he's not going to suddenly become very frosty. Whereas in Glyde's case, it may be that he is like taking the aspect of the element into himself or something. Like we need the lore to find out exactly why he changes shape.
Give us the lore.
Give us the lore, damn it!
Um,
We are lore reviewers.
Yeah, that was one of the things is when Dilatan came to us excitedly saying that he got us 3 keys from Valefor, he was like, "Oh my god, we should thank them," and like blah blah blah, and we were like, "Oh sweet, we'll get to review the the lore of the game," and he's like, "No," and it was like, well, if there's no lore to talk about, I don't really know what we will talk about.
For our personal medium being an auditory podcast, it's much better for us to talk about lore, storyline, and characters, because gameplay and graphics are usually better off in YouTube videos, which we don't do yet, but we could maybe get into it eventually.
Yeah. All right. Anything else?
As far as combat goes,
or just on the game at all?
My quotation marks, I wish there's more, or I hope that there's more. I do want skill trees. I want more abilities that I can unlock with these crystals, because they only seem to open doors so far. I would love to be able to choose my loadout. So, like, I want my fire dragon to have these 3 moves out of the 8 possible or whatever.
I got a suggestion. Yeah, Comrade brought it up, and it was something that while we were watching Ray's stream, every time you get within visual sight of a fucking dragon fruit tree, Glyde, even in the middle of combat, will be like, dragon fruit! And it's like, oh my god, shut the fuck up!
And the thing is, like, the tree could be harvested, like, I knocked it all down to recover hit points, and he'll still be like, oh, it's a dragon fruit! Because it's his, I guess his dialogue is tied to the tree and not to the fruit.
Yeah.
Which just meant it was happening all the time.
He was fighting...
Please tone that down.
He was fighting a group of enemies near a dragon fruit tree, and I swear to god, every 3 or 4 hits, he's like, a dragon fruit! And... It's like, oh, yeah, we get it.
The boy just loves his fruit, okay?
I do love the checkpoint system. I love the idea of curling up for a nap underneath a very special tree.
And see, that's what makes it a Dark Souls game.
Yeah, it's got a stamina system. It's got a bonfire system. It's got, special elemental attacks, and enemies don't really, like, after a while, there's no point in fighting enemies. You just run by them.
No, really, it would only be a Dark Souls game if resting at the tree made them all respawn.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And if you died, you lost your currency. You had to go back and get it.
Oh, God.
I feel like those are the 3 check marks of a Dark Souls game. Of a Souls-like.
Yeah. The idle animations were also really cute. Loved watching him scratch.
I only saw one, I think. And it didn't... I don't know.
No. It was cute, though.
I wish there was more. More animations, just in general. More idle animations.
Give him a wing stretch animation. Give him an animation where he kind of, like...
Give him a yawn.
Nibbles on his wing or something. Like...
Nibbles on his forepaw.
Yeah. Or give him a cat stretch. Front leg stretched out and arching his back. That'd be great.
But otherwise, so aside from the fact that he points out dragon food way too often, voice acting was great.
Yeah, the voice acting was really good.
But yeah, I think we only got to see his voice, his and his little fairy buddy Wing.
Which I was not prepared for. Because anytime you have a little cute thing flying around you, it's always got a high-pitched or fairy-like voice. But this one was like the fucking dude from Allstate commercials.
But they're the only voices we saw, but they were both great.
Yeah.
I wonder if there'll be more voice acting in the game, like they just turn it off for the demo, but like the main game will have all the main characters will have voice acting. That'd be pretty fancy, but we'll see.
Thing is that I imagine, I mean, granted I could be proven wrong, but I imagine that because it's a demo, they took every dragon they have designed throughout the course of the game and all shoved them into one zone. Coming across the plant dragon and the fire dragon and the wind dragon, whatever. And it's like I feel like each one of them might rule over an entire level or something and give you series of quests or whatever. I mean, hell, I'll do voice acting for free. Treesenix said that...
You think your voice is good enough for a video game?
It's voice acting. If they're not paying for it, it's better than nothing. And yeah,
that would be fun.
I did do a little bit of voice acting with Blue. And, like, right now I'm relaxed in my chair and I'm not doing, proper posture and I don't have a... But if I really put effort into it, yes, I could do a good voice.
Man, if we had a better living situation to where I could have my computer in my own room, I'm not going to be bothering Tanith or anybody else. I would want to voice act. That sounds like it could be fun. I would also stream more often, and I'd probably release stupid little Dragonair smart things. I would do a lot more audio-based things, but like I just don't have the space for it right now.
I'll send an email. Someone send an email to Valefor and tell them that if they put a black, a red, and a blue dragon that are 3 best friends, then we'll voice those.
I don't know. I feel like that would have been a Kickstarter reward or something. So they can't just give it out to us.
No, but we'd voice act it. It's because they want voice acting. I don't know. It's 3 dragons that when Glyde shows up, they all start talking about Glyde as if Glyde can't hear them. Like, look at this.
We'll see. They already destroyed the 4th wall. We'll see.
Yeah.
Back to the topic of, quote, I wish there's more. I think it'd be great if you could customize Glyde's appearance at some point.
Oh,
I unlocked the water form, and he looked naked. He had a good shade of teal going on, but like I felt like he needed either spots or stripes, so it's like maybe I can customize his form at some point.
Ray finished a challenge to defeat one of the big skeletons with the shield in 30 seconds. He passed that challenge. He was only able to pass the challenge by using a super attack, which seems not
I don't know
ideal.
If that's a bad guy armor hit points tuning or I just suck, but
whatever.
But
he completed it, and inside was a treasure chest, and it had this little thing, and it popped out of the chest, and he went, "What is it?" And I was like, "Look, you have armor." And yeah, it gave him like shoulder plates and arm plates, and I was like,
which I'm assuming meant I took less damage per hit, but the game wasn't telling me anything.
At all. But again, it's the demo. But I love that, and I told Ray, I was like, nothing would make me happier if you were doing a good enough job playing through the game, not getting hit, not getting killed or whatever, that you could eventually just be like a fully armored dragon, plate mail dragon by the end of the game. So I love things where you pick up armor cosmetically.
I would love to see armor on Glyde, just because I am a big advocate of dragons wearing clothing, or armor kind of counts, right? I want to see dragon fashion.
Yeah.
Which is, again, adds to the customizing the appearance of Glyde. Maybe I can get hats is a bad example, but eventually get hats or get like banners I can put on my wings, or rings I can put on my horns, or whatever, right?
Banners you can put on your wings and wings you can put on your horns?
I said rings, like with
rings.
an R. Rings. But just for that, give him a Viking helmet that has wings on it.
Yep.
But yeah. The mini-map is completely useless, and I hope that gets better in the 4 release.
Yeah, I noticed that.
When I was in the fire zone, the mini-map was 100% useless because it was just like a graphic of a mountain. Because if you had like a world map, you would have a graphic of a mountain to show there are mountains here. It was like that. I could see no corridors, no rooms, no nothing. It was just a graphic of a mountain with my little character's arrow moving around, so it was completely useless. But then even when I got to the outside and to some of the grassy bits, it didn't really help because there was nothing on it to kind of help me figure out what things were.
It looked like a child's painting of a field because it was basically all green with like a river running through it, and then like static PNGs of trees in areas where there were trees. The mini-map, I think, was a placeholder.
Yeah, I hope so, because it definitely needs to have more like icons and stuff on it. Like, okay, so in the game, you go around and you're unlocking your forms by finding 3 crystals, and then they activate a super crystal, which gives you a portal that lets you go to a challenge mode to unlock this form. I unlocked the water form, and then I died, and then when I respawned, I no longer had the water form because I didn't save after getting it, which, that's on me, but also, please add an autosave feature, at the very least autosave after you unlock stuff, because I had to go around to try and find these 3 crystals to unlock my water form again, and I couldn't find the 3rd one. I found the first 2 again, and I could not find the 3rd one. I spent half an hour running in circles trying to find it, and I eventually gave up and went to the next zone where I unlocked the air form. But the point is, like, if you could put the giant elemental crystals on the mini-map, that would be so helpful.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I couldn't get my water form.
So, as the demos, do you want to because I want to give like a score in a sense, just from what we've played, judging based on the demo alone. I still say it's better than Spyro. I enjoyed playing it more than Spyro. But I would give it a 8 out of 10.
One thing I'll say I liked about Spyro better would be its world segmentation, which is the fact that you have a hub world, and then you go through a portal, and that
magically flying,
brings you to this level with these collectibles to get whatever. Whereas in Glyde, it's all one big connected room that you will eventually double back on because there's Dark Souls style shortcuts and whatnot.
You even said, I was going to say, you even said that you think there might be Dark Souls style shortcuts.
Yeah. I don't like that. I like the segmentation of Spyro better. I don't know why. It might just be that I'm just too focusing on Spyro, and that was just the Spyro game. I don't know. So let me explain what my fear is, okay? Uh-oh. My fear. Because in this game, there were some zones that went nowhere or that didn't work, and there was an NPC put there to tell you that, hey, this is a work in progress, or like Valefor told me I'm not allowed to let you in here, or stuff like that, because there was a door I opened for 300 gems that just led to another door, and the NPC's like, I can't believe you opened my door. There's nothing here. Oh, well. And it's like, you cheeky son of a bitch. But the point being is because they were incomplete zones in there, it feels like they just took their game map, just plopped it into the demo, and said, go, be free release. Like, they didn't bother, like, changing anything to be demo worthy. Like, they didn't, like, fence off this area. They didn't put this area on purpose because it's a good place to show off their ability of whatever, right? It's just copy, paste, go, play with this while we finish the game. Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. However, if that is all they did, they didn't do any tweaking at all to prepare it for the demo. You're in that game, you're unlocking your 8 elemental forms really fast then. Like, I gave up at the 5th form. I could never get the water form back, and I could never find the earth form, even though it was right next to the water one, I think. So I don't know if that was me being stupid or if you're not supposed to find it until later. But I'm counting the air form as the 5th form. I got the 5th form within... What's my gameplay time on this demo? Within 2 hours. Which feels like it's really fast. Like, if this was just a copy-paste of the map, it feels like it might be a really, really small game. Which, again, spoiled gamer wishlist. I understand in indie dev and they can't make a 40-hour-long game. But it feels like it would be too small at that point. Like, again, my problem with the interconnected zones being like, oh, here was a grassland, now I'm underground in a lava zone, and now I'm back into a grassland again. It just, without everything being separated Spyro style, it feels like the lava area was like just really small and like, great, I was there for 20 minutes, now I'm never going back because, I don't know. I don't know how to put my thoughts to words. It's like, I can forgive zones being small if it's like, you have to jump into a painting to get to this world because it's just a little world attached to the hub. But then if it's like big open world, it feels like it should be big.
So
open world.
I don't agree. Me personally, like, I didn't like the way Spyro did it because to me that felt like, all right. So one of the things that when I was a little kid, and I was messing around with creating my own little worlds for stories and drawing maps and stuff, right? Glyde feels like what I used to do as a kid, which is, you dump a bowl of macaroni on a table and then outline it with a pen. And then there you go. There's your world map. And now you break that up into segments, right? But what Spyro feels like is someone handed you a stack of 30 bowls and then you just lay them out in a grid formation and just connect them with strings. It feels lazier to me having a portal that teleports you to a completely another landmass, because then it just feels like small individual leveled bowls where when you're done with the level, you just move on to another one. I
think it definitely comes down to the games I grew up with as a kid, which were hub world based collectathons like Banjo-Kazooie, Mario 64, the original Spyro, stuff like that. So it's like, that's just like what I like. So it's definitely a personal taste thing. I think it comes down to that. So ignore my complaints about the world not being a hub world and being interconnected instead. It's probably not valid. It's just my personal taste.
Yeah.
I also just like hub worlds because you tend to get more drastic with your worlds. Like you realistically cannot have an ice world right next to a lava world because physics wise, that just doesn't make sense for the for the world to make sense, that doesn't make sense. But when you play with the hub world, where you can jump into these paintings to go to the fire world, and then here's the painting for the ice world, you can go fucking crazy with the designs of those worlds because they don't have to make sense in relation to each other.
Yeah.
You know, to use Banjo-Kazooie, you can have the desert world right before, I can't remember the order, right before or right after the snowman world. It's like, that doesn't make sense in any other way besides that's just the order they came to you in the hub world. To respond to Tristan Nixon, the Discord chat, Monster Hunter World, the Gilding Lands is sweating right now. Monster Hunter is different in the sense that you can't walk from fire to ice completely. Like, in one go, you have to return to your hub and then go out on the airship or whatever to get to the other one. So it's still a hub world with selectable biomes.
No, he's
right.
He's talking about the guiding lands. You. All right. So, Tree Cynics, one thing you should know about Ray, and I'm gonna say this as mean as possible. Ray gives up on things right when they're starting to get good, and the guiding lands, once he unlocked it, he barely did anything in them. The guiding lands, Ray, is that giant interconnected world where you move from biome to biome.
You just go and just grind for no reason.
Not for no reason. Oh my god.
Once the game adds a grind mode, I tend to lose interest.
To be fair, it can get really tedious. I went in there, spoiler...
I have to go here and fight 17 monsters to just level up my pass before I can finally get the thing I want to get? Ugh.
Yeah, spoiler alert, I will confess that I gave the Guiding Lands like probably a good 10 to 15 hours of legitimate gameplay before I started getting really annoyed and bored and just started cheating. And use cheat engine to basically one-shot enemies because I was just like, I need to grind enough kills to get a certain monster to show up, so then I can kill that to get another monster to show up. And it was like,
it was useless grind. It was padding.
When you're trying to upgrade a particular weapon and it requires this particular part, but that's locked behind 3 waves of enemies, it was like, all right, nope, just turn it on cheats.
Okay. I'm racking my brain. That's everything I need to say about Glyde, considering there's no storyline or dialogue or anything.
I was going to say we should wrap it up, because otherwise it'll be a 2-hour-long episode again.
Again, I'm just racking my brain real fast. All right, I know, you said you gave it over on 8 out of 10?
Just based on the demo alone, an 8 out of 10.
Mm-hmm. Would you live here? Remember the question we always ask? Would you live here?
Would. I mean, the undead seems kind of problematic, but the undead and the spreading corruption seem kind of problematic, but these dragons are cute as fuck, so I'd love to live there.
Based on the demo alone, I'd probably give it a 9 out of 10. This is an optimistic score because I know it's an early test build. I have my wish list of hopefully there's a skill tree, hopefully there's more options to my abilities, because in the demo everything felt like, well, this is the flame version of your dash, this is the lightning version of your dash, this is the water version of whatever, right?
Yeah.
And this, so I have my little wish list, so optimistically 9 out of 10. I hope they add some depth to it. I hope there's more culture. When we start to get the actual storyline, we'll have like a dragon capital city where we get all our lore from or whatever. But yeah, optimistic 9 out of 10. As far as the living here, so far no, because I need to see like the culture and stuff. Like right now it's just dragons on an island with undead and corruption spreading, and there's a lot of dragon corpses everywhere, so no. Also, if dragons do not get any bigger, then in this particular universe, dragons are not the all-powerful beings that I have come to,
in which case
expect them to be.
Live there even more.
So it's like I wouldn't get to be all-powerful there, so no. But we'll see the lore. There are a couple NPC throwaway lines that would like name of deity preserve us or whatever. I can't remember the names, but it's like, I want to know who these are. Please tell me. Yeah. Give me the lore. Tell me who these are.
What is the lore of this land?
Well, you see, we're actually in Anor Londo. All right. Done with Glyde, I think?
Yes.
Okay. This is where I will put the musical number. So yeah, we're going to take a short break now. This isn't really a spoiler break because it's a Netflix movie. If you're worried about spoilers, go watch it. It's like 70 minutes long. It's also an adaptation of a kindergarten level book, so probably not a lot of spoiling to be done, but I just want to use my music, so here we go.
All right, welcome back, listeners. We will be discussing the movie in detail without spoil. That was the spoiler break. So if you haven't,
there will be spoilers.
If you haven't watched the movie, then definitely watch it now.
Thing is, I don't think the movie even gets ruined by spoilers. Like, there are definitely movies where, like, if this is spoiled, then you're gonna lose something. But like, this is definitely something that's like, no, you're kind of just along for the ride. All the twists and turns of plot are like, yeah, you kind of see it coming.
Yeah. First, and this is just a small thing, and I just want to get it out of the way so that I don't forget. One of the characters in the movie, who is kind of portrayed as the bad guy, it's a white gorilla.
Dude, I was amazed this movie went from cats to monkeys so fast. I was like, this is a Bantam movie. I hate this.
Yeah, because I love monkeys. Anyway, it's the gorilla's name is Saiwa. And Saiwa, as soon as he started talking, I went, why does that sound so familiar? And I'm like, oh, it's Ian McShane from fucking John Wick, the guy who played Winston from the Continental. And his voice is just so good. Everything he voices, So the fact that was the only voice actor, aside from the cat being Whoopi Goldberg, which I picked up on immediately, the voice acting in this movie was phenomenal. But yeah, just that little thing out of the way because I just really liked hearing Ian McShane talk.
I appreciate the fact that there wasn't really a villain. Nobody was like actually evil.
Yeah, that is true.
It is refreshing to see plot lines that follow character versus environment, or character versus circumstance, rather than character versus character. But yeah, the brief synopsis. The story is told from the point of view of a girl who's telling the story about her dad when he was young, which is a really weird way to tell a story,
yeah,
I guess.
Okay, then I must have missed that, because I was like, what does the fucking title My Father's Dragon have anything to do with?
Well, because the beginning,
movie?
the beginning, the narrator is like, let me tell you like this. I don't remember the exact word, but it's like, let me tell the story about my father's dragon back when he was my age and whatever. And that's how the story kind of starts. And that's the kind of style the narrator wanted to use. So the story is supposed to be told from the point of view of a girl talking about her father when he was young. That's why it's called My Father's Dragon.
Yeah, that's weird.
It really serves no purpose aside from letting you use that title.
Yeah. I wrote this book called My Father's Dragon, and they read it and they go, okay, but why is it called that? I don't know.
Thing is, the book used the same narration style, and I think it was meant to make it sound like this is a true story because I'm telling about somebody else, not myself.
I think
know.
a storytelling trope would be that this is a book that is meant to be read to small children,
Yes.
and therefore it then serves the purpose of a story being passed down. So I'm going to tell you this story.
It's an extra degree of separation, so it sounds more believable.
Yeah.
Well, this didn't happen to me, so it happened to my dad instead. So if you think it's not true, take it up with him.
Yeah.
But yeah. Shit, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the general gist of it is she's telling the story about her dad when he was a kid. We started out with some good times, then there were some bad times. The kid doesn't like the bad times and tries to help, but keeps getting in the way while he's trying to help, or like doesn't understand properly or something. So runs away.
Finds a cat.
Accidentally goes to a magical land, which could be just seen as he was unconscious and had a dream, I guess. Because when he goes to the magical land, there are more problems that he tries to fix, ends up learning a lesson while he's there, and then he comes home and everything's better magically.
Well, no, it's better through the sweat of his own brow at that point.
No, the lesson he learned was he can't do everything himself, so the sweat of his own brow is not the lesson to be taken away here.
There's no magic, though, at all. He goes back home, and nothing has changed except his attitude. There's no magic in that.
Yeah, kind of. So, his attitude has definitely changed. So,
he literally returns home and dismisses the dragon, like, you can go, and then runs back home to this dingy, horrible, rainy city, and nothing has changed except his attitude.
Yes, that is the point. He can't fix anything himself. It just got better on its own.
I don't think anything got better. I think he just had a different mentality about it. Instead of woe is me,
but the point is, if he never had his magical adventure, everything still would have gotten better. He just would have been a bit more salty about it until it got better.
Oh, okay.
The point is, like, his adventure actually didn't really affect anything. So when he came back and everything was better, it felt like, wow, we just made everything better, huh? Okay.
Treesenic's just in shock that that's the lesson you took from the movie.
that was me just like completely butchering the plot line in 2 sentences.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the movie starts with him and his mother running a little community shop, and when they
which I have to interrupt you to just say that I love that shop. Like, it made me nostalgic. Like, that old style of shop where like you go into the shop, you're like, I need this, and then they get it for you from the back room, rather than like Walmart, you go up and down the aisles and get everything yourself, right? And like, I just want to say that's like one of the things I liked about Red Dead Redemption 2, which I played very little of, but I just love that style of shop. I don't know why, it just made me feel very nostalgic. Yeah. So I need to point out, I love that shop.
Yeah, so they run this little shop in basically like a flyover town. Because they do the shop is prospering for a little while, and then hard times hit, and they have to their shop gets foreclosed on, and so they have to move to the big city. And as they're driving away from their foreclosed, shuttered store, it literally looks like there's like 10 houses in this whole town. And so they end up in the big city in a rundown apartment with a bitchy landlord. And they're out of money. They don't have like anything. The mother's struggling to make ends meet, and the kid. I mean, I understand it's a child's view of the situation, but it pissed me the fuck off when the kid's like, "You promised we'd be fine," and it's like,
well, the kid just wants everything to go back to the way it was. He wants the shop back because he has such good memories of it, because he was so helpful. It's like, oh, can you go get this? Sure. And he goes and gets this, and like, yay, good feelings because I'm helpful and I did the thing I was asked to do.
And
so he just wants things to go back to the way they were. So he wants to have his shop back. And Mom promised we would open a new shop in this new city. So he's got this little jar of coins that's supposed to be like the seed money for starting this new shop.
Yeah, she has him go around the shop before it closes. And get anything worth selling, and so he fills up this backpack full of what you would assume is garbage, like stuff that no one in their right mind would ever need, right? And foreshadowing every single one of those items becomes meaningful and useful. But as they leave and he gets in the truck and they drive to the big city, later on during their fight before the kid runs away, he's like, but you promised that we'd open a new shop. You even had me go around and get all those items. She said, I told you to get those so that you'd get in the truck. And I was like, ooh.
Yeah. She starts using the coins to make phone calls to try to find a job. And he's getting upset because
the coins are...
No, that's the shop money.
Yeah, the coins are
and it's dwindling. Like, oh, it's such a little kid moment, which I get. But as a fully grown, capable adult, I'm like, oh, God damn it, kid. Come on.
Yeah. So the kid runs away, and he ends up at a dock. He at one point a cat sneaks into his house, and that causes another fight.
Because pets cost extra, and she's like, "Do you want us to get thrown out of this apartment?
Yeah.
Because that's what you're trying to do with this cat."
So she kicks the cat, and him like he chases after the cat or whatever, and the cat leads him to a dock, and then the cat talks to him. And was like, you helped me, I'm going to help you.
You were kind to me.
Yeah, because he gave the cat some milk, which the mother even said, like, careful, we need that for breakfast. Like, the fact that he was willing to share what little they had with the cat, And so the cat starts talking to him, which, by the way, the first line in the movie that just made me laugh out loud was where he's, like, freaking out over a talking cat, and she goes, I'll wait till you're done. Like, done freaking out. But the cat summons a whale who takes the kid to the magical island. The whale is incredibly annoying.
Hey, remember when we taught kids not to go with strangers?
talking cat just gets his kid on the whale and gone. Do you want to know why they call me Soda? But yeah, so as he's arriving toward the island basically just looks like what are those purple flowers that rabbits like to eat?
I don't know.
Clover flowers. It looks like a giant clover flower, like basically a giant half bubble or half circle dome. And there's and then as they're approaching the island, they see this glittering golden dragon attached to ropes, lifting the island out of the water every few hours or whatever. And it's told to him immediately that the dragon is being kept prisoner to keep raising the island out of the water.
Yeah, the island is sinking into the water, and so the monkey gorilla, whatever the Sewa, he's got the dragon tied up, and every time the island starts sinking, the dragon's got to pull it back out of the water.
And the dragon's terrified of it because it forces him into a position where he's directly over a giant blue gout of fire.
It's like there's a furnace inside of this thing.
And
this
so
island better. The island is an orb, by the way. It's not flat. It's an orb.
The bottom was a lot smaller than the top, but so it basically was the perfect shape of an acorn. So every time the dragon has to lift the island, he's directly over this gout of fire, and he says it hurts. It also makes him very afraid.
He's scared of
fire, but he also did mention it hurts because it's hot up there.
Mm-hmm.
But he basically is just a slave to doing this. But the dragon is told that he can't become an after dragon until he saves the island. So the gorilla basically is like, this is the only way to save the island, and essentially through ignorance, not through malice, the gorilla has lied to him. And said, well, if you want to save the island, this is how you have to do it. I solved the problem. And the reason why it is a problem is because the dragon has to do a certain thing, which the only person who knew what the dragon needed to do was a turtle. I don't remember the turtle's name, but the turtle's...
It started with an A, but I can't remember.
The turtle is dead. And when the gorilla found out that the turtle is dead and the turtle can't guide the dragon on how to save the island, he came up with his own plan,
which he thought was best. With the information he had at hand, he thought was the best course of action.
You're kind of, as the viewer, you're kind of led to believe the gorilla is the bad guy in the beginning of when you first meet him. Later on in the movie, there's even a part where the kid tumbles into the water and is drowning, and the gorilla saves him. And it's like, the gorilla's not evil. He's doing what he thinks is right, and what he thinks is right is not correct. Which I liked, because there is no actual bad guy, because even the gorilla's right hand man, who is a dick, he basically is just like, you know what, fine, screw you all, and he just gets on a mushroom and just paddles out to sea. Like, he doesn't do anything inherently evil.
Yeah.
The creature designs, even though they are real life animals, they are still kind of magical in a different way. Like the howler monkeys are basically bloodhounds, which he's like, release the howlers, and it's just like a cloud of monkeys that can sniff out things or whatever. There's little fluffball mice that are apparently smart enough to build traps. There's tigers, which I loved the design of the tigers.
This isn't a scarf, is it?
Huh?
This isn't a scarf, is it?
Yeah, they have like really, really long prehensile tails, and their proportions are like teddy bearish.
Yeah, they really look like a teddy bear.
And
big round head.
Big round head, small body for its head size. They almost every animal except the gorilla, except almost all the monkeys, were very stylized. Like even the rhino was just very stylized or whatever, but
very chunk,
with very, very small horns, so it's not in the way of their eyes.
The crocodiles are very long and all tangled up in
they're very rope like. And even the baby crocodiles were basically circles with a little line and then another line for their body. So they kind of looked like
they were just giant eyeballs.
What's that Pokemon that's basically just letters? Unknown. Yeah, the baby crocodiles looked like baby unknowns, but green.
Just because they were just all
They were all eye.
They were all
They were
eye.
all eye.
Yeah.
And it was funny because every animal was relatively polite and friendly, but at the same time, they're like, no, this is what we're doing. Like, every animal on the island knew that the boy had freed the dragon, and therefore the boy was the enemy, and that they had to get the dragon back. And, you know, so let's talk about the dragon.
Yeah. His name's Boris.
Which is weird, but holy fuck, I love him.
It's like, of course, hold on. What was the kid's name?
Shit. I don't remember.
Fuck, it's with an E. It's not
Oh,
Eustace, it's
Elmer.
not Eugene.
Elmer, because Elmer's
Elmer.
glue.
Okay, it's just like, but he's like, oh, your name's Elmer? That's such a cool name. My name's Boris. It's not a cool name, but it goes with my face. It's like, I love that line. It just goes with my face. He was such a lovable dork. Like, at first, like, within the first, 10 seconds of him talking, I was like, oh, no. Because I thought he was going to be, annoying, borderline retarded. Or, I can't say that word. Sorry. But, but he was going to be a problem. Like, he was going to be real grating and really annoying. But, no, he actually was pretty lovable. He was a lovable dork.
Yeah. The fact that just the way he reacts to certain things, like when Elmer is talking to him about fire and water, or, oh, you can breathe fire, right? And, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no, I can't breathe fire. And he goes, fire's scary anyway. And then, talking about water, and he's like, oh, I'm terrified of water. But he's saying it with this big smile. And
yeah, what at one point Elmer is listing everything wrong with Boris. And he's like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He's like, you can't go near water. You're scared of fire, right? You can't fly.
His wings looked like 8.5 by 11 construction paper cut into the shape of a wing and just glued to his back. They were these tiny little things. And of course,
I was surprisingly okay with it just because of the way they animated him actually flying.
That it was entirely through magic. Every time he spread his wings, it was a halo of power, Pew! And it would knock things back.
He's got to turn on flight mode, and it's pew, little release of energy. So because of that, I was fine with it.
Yeah. So early on in the movie, when he first frees the dragon, they're about to escape. The dragon's flying away, and the gorilla's right hand man, I forget his name. It begins with a K, but throws a torch at the dragon and hits him in the wing and damages it. So the dragon can't fly for the majority of the movie. Yeah, so they go on this adventure because the boy finds a stone. They've escaped the monkeys. So after Elmer frees the dragon and they escape, they find a stone carving, or just something scratched into a stone on a beach. And it depicts a very muscled, superhero notebook style dragon. And so that's where Boris tells him about what it means to be an after dragon. So when dragons come to this island every 100 years, they save the island for the next 100 years. And by doing so, they earn the right to become an after dragon, where they get fire and they become powerful and, basically kind of like, it almost felt to me like they were explaining dragon adolescence, where you become a man, and
it just adds credence to the whole he's just unconscious in the streets, something that's on his brain, because of course he wouldn't understand what adolescence is. Of course you have to just go into a little forge to get your fire.
Well, because Boris is dorky, and he even explains hey, watch what I can do, and tries to do arm farts with his armpits, and he's like, sorry, usually I'm a lot sweatier than this. And it's like, is that like you're saying that this is, when kids go through puberty and all sorts of stuff happen or whatever, but the after dragon is basically, I've reached adulthood, and so he's like, yeah, I want to become an after dragon. And it's told to you right there that Boris doesn't want to leave the island in the sense where, fuck this place and everyone on it. It's just, he doesn't like the way he's being asked to save the island, but he does want to save it. And so he tells him about the turtle, and that if he talks to the turtle will tell him the way. And then the kid notices another rock that has a turtle picture and an arrow, and he's like, oh my God. And so they follow the path. while being hunted by the gorilla and his army of monkeys. And it's they finally do reach the turtle. Well, before that, they fall into a pitfall trap set by these mice, and they meet a rhino named, I think it's Iva. And they tell Iva, like, no, look, we want to save this island, but we want to do it the right way. The way that will save it for 100 years and not every few hours. So she helps them, and then they come across some tigers, and the tigers basically are desperately trying to eat them. Now through...
No, they're tigers. They eat people.
Through each of these situations, which is why I like the foreshadowing of all the random garbage that he picked up in the store in the beginning of the movie.
Oh, it's the trope of you just magically happen to have every item you need. It's the same trope with freaking James Bond movies. It's like, we're going to walk you through the tech center, and here's the 5 items that we're going to give you, and you're going to magically need all 5 of them. You're definitely going to
need all 5 of them in this movie, yeah.
Yeah, it's that trope.
He freed the dragon from the vines that were binding him by using a pair of broken scissors to cut the vines. When he was being attacked by the tigers, they kept mentioning how juicy and chewy he'd be, and so he pulled it.
So he gave them a gumball
and told them how amazing it was, and then threw it.
But there's only one, so you got to fight over it.
And then throws it. When he's in the pitfall trap, it's too dark to see what monster is lurking in there with him, so he uses the broken mirror.
So he reflects light off of a broken mirror.
Yeah, it's like...
he tricks the dragon into following him when the dragon's scared by using the lollipop.
The lollipop, yep. Strawberry-flavored lollipop.
Yep.
And and he also seems to have like a handful of tangerines for...
Well, I think he got them off the whale's back when they passed by Tangerine Island.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, so every...
it's the I have everything I need trope.
The only thing he had in his backpack that was shown and never needed was the empty glass jar that his money used to be in. It was mostly just the dragon pulled it out, looked at it, and then looked at him, and the kid got kind of sad, and he just put it back. But so they reached the turtle. They reached the turtle. Their journey is at an end. The island is going to get saved. And then the kid looks inside the turtle shell because they're talking to the shell and nothing's happening. And he sees the fucking skeleton, which I was like, woo, that was a little dark for a kid's movie. The whole tone of this movie, I did not expect to see a turtle skull. But yeah, the turtle's been dead for a long time. And the gorilla knew that. But no one else knew that. No one else. So when they get out of the cave and everyone's like, oh my God, did the turtle tell you what you need to do?
He's like, yeah, he just needs to rest first.
Yeah, to buy time, he basically... Because if he said, no, the turtle's dead, then he just got all the animals to help him for no reason other than to just hasten their destruction of their home. And so, yeah, the gorilla shows up and rats him out like, no, the turtle didn't tell you what to do because the turtle's dead. And everyone's like, oh my God, how could you? But yeah, so the gorilla ends up cornering them while they're sleeping. And that's when the whole revelation of the turtle's dead, and that if the dragon doesn't come back with him and raise the island the old-fashioned way, everyone's doomed. And so the dragon doesn't want to do that, and he... As the dragon is trying to get away, ends up slipping and falling, and the gorilla grabs his broken wing, and I guess pops it back into...
I guess it was dislocated because then I put it back in its place.
The dragon's hanging from the branch, and the gorilla grabs his wing to pull him back up, and you hear like a little pop, and then the wing is suddenly fine, and then there's that blast of magic which pushes everyone back.
Turn on flight mode.
And then he starts flying away, and everyone looks like, oh my God, we're all dead now. And I was like, that's dark, because the dragon just starts flying away. And it isn't until, I think, as they're flying away, the kid remembers what he saw when he saw the island raising up. And he determines that the reason why the island is sinking in the water all the time is because there's 3 roots pulling it down. And that if the dragon does the old-fashioned... He just needs
to pull it hard enough so that I can cut the roots at the bottom.
No. It was just to pull hard enough that the roots themselves break. The roots were already dead.
I'm pretty sure he thought it's something that he had to do also. Like, if you pull hard enough, then I can go down and cut the roots, because that's why I said I need to come with you.
No, the kid was on the dragon's back, but the roots were snapping on their own. But
I don't know. I got the feeling that the kid thought that it was something that he had to do. Like, I can fix it. I just need you to do this.
No, because it was his plan. Like, he's the answer guy. Teresa Nix is typing. He'll sort this out.
I don't know. The whole like lesson the kid had to learn is that he can't do anything to fix stuff sometimes, which is why I feel like at this point he's still falling into his trap of, I can fix it. I can cut the roots. I just need the dragon to pull it up hard enough to like expose them or something.
Those roots were as big around as a building.
It's a fucking fever dream with a kid, okay? It doesn't matter how big around the roots are.
But what he ends up doing is the dragon gets tied up again with vines, except on his own accord this time, and starts lifting the island. And he pulls hard enough that 2 of the roots snap, but then he ends up staring down into the star-shaped orifice where all the fire is coming out, and he starts to lose his nerve. And so, yeah, that's right. I'm right. Yeah. So he snaps 2 of the roots, but one of them stays. And the dragon, while staring down into the, I guess, the heart of the island,
the forge of days.
Yeah. He realizes
it's basically a forge in the middle of this fucking island. I call it the Forge of Days because that's the reference to a game I was playing earlier.
And so, yeah, he stares down into the fire and realizes, oh my God, I know what I got to do. And the kid is like, no, you just need to keep doing what I told you to do, which is basically the exact same thing the gorilla was, he was falling into the same trap of, I know the right answer and just do it the way I said. Hesitant to change kind of thing. So they have their cliche falling out, which I did not hit me. It emotionally did not impact me because I'm fucking sick of it. I'm sick of it happening in every goddamn movie.
Dude, okay, yeah, the emotional tension at this point was so goddamn forced.
It was so forced. And
the dragon's like, no, I know what I need to do. You need to let me go and do this thing because I need to go inside this. And the kid's like, but that wasn't my plan, so you're obviously wrong. And the dragon's like, nuh-uh. And then the kid's like, you'll never be an after dragon.
Yeah, you'll never be an after dragon, which was like...
That came out of fucking
That was
nowhere.
The biggest fucking, like, fuck you thing you could have possibly said. And then the dragon looks at him with, like, tears in his eyes. And he's just like...
Well, like, literally the most hurtful thing you could have said.
Yeah, the most hurtful thing you possibly could have said. And the dragon is like...
But, like, completely uncalled for.
Like, what the fuck? And then the kid's like, forget you then. And then leaves. And then immediately starts drowning.
Yeah, I mean, he says, you'll never be an after dragon. Like, literally after the dragon says that because you said you believe in me, I know I can do it now. So it's like, here's a good thing. And then here's the worst possible thing I could say.
Yeah, it definitely felt like a brief moment of thought.
Forced.
Like, what is the most hurtful thing I could say in this moment? Like, yeah. I've never been your friend. You're a stupid piece of shit. You'll never be an after dragon. And it's like, oh. But yeah, so the kid runs away because the island is a big dome or ball or whatever. He ends up sliding off and into the water, and then immediately gets trapped by a root and starts drowning. Like within 10 seconds of saying that to Boris, and the gorilla rescues him, puts him on a mushroom cap as they're basically preparing to paddle out to sea to find a new place to live, which just shows you like the gorilla is like, you know what, I failed, this island is lost, but I'm still going to make sure that everybody is safe. And so he is, the de facto leader of the island. He's trying to make sure everybody's alive. In fact, at one point, the dragon even just gets away from the gorilla because the gorilla is like, no, we need to save all these people that are in the water. Let the dragon go. We'll get them later. I don't like movies where there's a forced tension, like.
The thing is, like, it could have been written better. Like, instead of, you'll never be an after dragon, it could be, because the dragon literally just said, I know I can do it because you believe in me, or something to that extent, right? So instead of, you'll never be an after dragon, it could be no, you're wrong, you can't do it, your way is dumb, you have to do it my way, something like that.
Yeah, and then he could be like you said, right? Just like Siwa or whatever.
Something, right?
Yeah.
It could have been written better. There could have been a better dialogue option picked there that didn't feel so
The
forced.
thing is that movies are becoming far too predictable now. Like the movies.
Again, this is a book based
Yeah,
off
but
of this is based off a kindergarten book, so predictable is okay.
But I mean, every movie that is based on a book, they'll even say based on. It doesn't have to follow the book beat for beat. And like, there's a movie that's not even out yet, and it's by Pixar, I think, and it's about a wisp of fire and a water droplet, and
Oh yeah, elements
or whatever the fuck it's called. And everyone can, I guarantee you, everybody is right. They're like, okay, so the two of them are complete opposites, but they start to attract, and then they're gonna realize that their differences are too big to surmount, and they're gonna go their separate ways, but then they're both gonna face hardships, and they're gonna realize they need each other, and they're gonna get back together at the end. That's how every fucking movie goes, and it's so fucking annoying.
I think that's the reason why Game of Thrones did so well early on, is because it wasn't predictable.
Yeah, it
was like people were like, it's gonna go this way, and then nope, this character's dead. And they're like,
yeah,
what?
It's the same thing with The Walking Dead. It's like The Walking Dead was based on a comic book, but major characters were created for the show, and major characters were killed off in the show, even though they were still alive in the comics way back beyond that point. They based it on the comics, but they did their own thing, and you can do that. That's why, but yeah, so anyway.
Again, I've never read the original book. I don't know how true to form the movie is. But I just say, if it's based off of a kindergarten book, because ages 4 to 7, I'm calling that kindergarten. It's also like 1st and 2nd grade, whatever. If it's based off a book for that age range, I feel like the movie should also be for kids of that age range. Therefore, predictability is okay, because you're not going to try to blow these kids' minds. They're just getting to the point where they can understand story structure.
So the kid and the gorilla and all the other animals are preparing to leave the island, and they're all very, very sad. The dragon, the kid finally realizes, you know what? I was wrong. Runs up to give some words of encouragement to Boris, who then gets the courage to do his plan, which is to go into the fire, which previously scared him, and whatever. So he goes down into the pit of the island where the fire is, and he ends up like eating the blue.
Like he sucks up the energy of the island or something.
Yeah.
It's like big spaghetti noodle. Like
Yeah, he just
and then just curls up.
It curls up and disappears, and then explodes into light, and basically leading to my theory that this whole island is basically a giant acorn or some sort of seed pod, because the dragon then is reborn again as a gigantic flower of energy, and the flower petals start peeling away, revealing the dragon, and when he comes out, he hasn't changed at all.
I was really looking forward to there being another design for him being an after dragon.
He comes out and he looks exactly the same. Nothing's changed.
But he can
breathe fire. And the fire design was really cool, because it was a mix of blue and red fire, where the blue was the actual initial flame, and the red was like lightning bolts arcing around it. Or like, it almost looked like fireworks. It was really, really pretty. But by him being reborn, it has revitalized the island, because I think the island is a seed, because then it grows new roots that are magical, and it pushes the island back up to where it originally should have been. And so now the plant is alive, and it's not going to sink anymore. And for 100 years. And so, he comes back down, and he's like, I did it. And, the gorilla even steps up and he goes, I was wrong. Like, I am so sorry. I thought that I was helping, but I was just making it worse. That part hit me more emotionally than the whole, you'll never be an after dragon. Yeah. Like that part made me roll my eyes so fucking hard.
Me too.
But the gorilla admitting I was wrong, which is a really tough thing to do, even in real life. So that one kind of hit me a little bit harder. And but essentially the Elmer saves the whole island full of animals, and everyone's good for 100 years, which is longer than they're going to be alive. So they don't have, and he's like, listen, you need to carve this rock with instructions, so the next dragon that shows up here isn't tied to ropes and isn't enslaved like I was. And he's like, oh yeah, we will definitely be carving these rocks. And so the dragon carries him back home. And as he goes home, he passes by these islands full of tangerines, and the second in command monkey that escaped earlier basically was like, fuck you.
Was sitting there all
butthurt. But you kind of understand that, like, he's gotten an uneasy friendship with Soda the whale. And when he realizes, oh shit, they fixed the island, he's like, yay. And so, yeah, the dragon drops him back off at his house, or at his city. And the dragon's like, all right, what do you need me to do to do whatever you wanted, blah, blah, blah. And the kid's like, no, I'm good. You can go. You can go home. I'll figure it out. And he's like, are you scared? And he goes, yeah, I'm terrified, but I'll figure it out. So the kid learns a lesson. Like, stuff's scary, but you'll get through it. And then
I feel like the lesson learned was things are out of your hands. You can't affect anything.
Yeah. And a little change of heart with the landlady. The landlady is
maybe. I don't know what changed with her.
So when he first ran from the house, like, angry with the cat, the landlady looked out the window like, man, what's going on out there? And then saw the kid running away crying, and her facial expression changed to that of sorrow. Like, maybe I'm being too hard on them.
And I think I missed that, like, 3-second exchange by, like, looking away for 2 seconds.
The landlady looked out the window.
It happened real fast.
The landlady looked out the window like, God, maybe I'm the one who's causing this problem. Like, they're so stressed about money and it's my fault, kind of thing.
I mean, but to be in her defense, she's like, I always hear sob stories on rent day. It's like, yeah, I bet landlords do. It's like, eventually you would just become hardened to that. And not saying that that's right. I'm not trying to defend landlords, but, like, in her defense, how she's supposed to know
that,
like,
you're not just lying.
What's true, what's not, and if maybe like, times are hard, right? This is supposed to be, the book was written in 1948, so
really,
yeah, the book was written in 1948. So the time period that's supposed to be taking place in, it's like, times are hard for a lot of freaking people. You can't give everyone some slack.
So yeah, the first person that that Elmer sees when he arrives back in Nevergreen City is the landlord, and she looks at him like, there you are, you're gonna be late, your supper's getting cold. And then across the street is his mom. And
yeah, I felt like that was a complete 180. Like, she's nice now?
It was literally a 1 second long scene that you must have looked away for.
But even then, I feel like that's, like, too much of a shift that fast, considering how evil she was before, but whatever. But yeah, so he comes back, she says, yes, I was getting cold, and he sees his mom across the street or whatever, and then everything's magically better. Hooray.
Yeah. So in the time that it took between him leaving home in the beginning and leaving the new apartment in the beginning of the movie to when he shows back up, the house is fully furnished and now colorful.
No, we had a time skip, obviously, after we saw the mom in the rain and they did the hug and he cried. There was obviously a time skip after that.
Was there? Yeah, okay, I guess. Because, yeah, when he ran from the house with the cat, there was a kitchen table, 2 chairs, a fridge, and, like, several boxes. Empty boxes. That was all there was in the entire fucking apartment. And then when he comes back and the landlady is fixing their water pipe, everything is colorful, there's full furniture, and everybody's in better spirits. It's like, eh.
But so when I say everything is magically fixed, I mean that as in, like, the lesson he learned, while important to his personal growth, with the whole, you can't affect everything and you just have to kind of just hang on for the ride every now and then.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that while that lesson was important to his personal growth, his adventure and his lesson does not affect his real life situation at all, which I guess is the point. The point is you can't change it. So it's like, if this was a real magical adventure versus a fever dream, not important. The point was, if it never happened, everything still would have been better. He just had to stop whining.
Yes. At the very end of the movie, the very, very last scene of the movie is the kid gathering up some of his mom's stuff and going outside to hang out with the kids across the street.
Who he's suddenly friends with. It's like, I understand there's a time skip, but still that felt like, okay,
let me just say that, because we forgot to mention the kids, but before the kid runs away and ends up going to the wild island, he after his mom spent every coin that they had left on calls, he had a box of colorful rubber bands in his backpack, and he was trying to sell them. And he saw this old woman across the street looking at these kids who were putting on a costume show, and she was about to give them a coin, but instead the kid upsold and was like, no, you want a colorful rubber band for your hair or something, like it's so much better
at a bargain today only.
And she's like, oh my god. So she runs across the street and gives him the coin, and the kids that were doing the play are pissed off, like, hey, she was going to give that to us and you stole it. And then they basically, like, not rough them up,
dude, I fucking hate those kids. Those two
I was
kids.
like, I will fucking assault a child. All right, I will grab that little girl by the ankles and swing her into the other girl, and then both of them into the fat kid. I wanted to beat the shit out of those fucking kids because they 3v1'd the fucking kid.
I don't know if I can leave this in. Holy shit.
Yeah, probably not.
This is a bit too
I
like
hate
violence against children.
I hate them. And
okay.
Yeah, cut it.
We're cutting all that
Cut it
stuff
off.
over.
I do hate kids, though.
The point is, I think it was really. I understand they're kids, but it was really unfair. The whole, like, that coin was ours. We deserve that, not you. And now we're going to assault and rob you because we're salty little pricks.
Yeah, they because one of them's digging through the backpack while the other ones are fighting over the coin in the jar, and they end up getting the coin. And I think the little girl steals something else from his backpack too. I don't know.
I don't know. The point is, like,
but yeah,
I understand kids movie. We need to make sure the kids are all friends after the time skip. But it's like, that was completely unwarranted. The way they treated him, I would not want to be their friends. I don't care what fucking magical journeys went on.
Another little attention to detail that I do, because Ray always is like, how do you fucking notice this shit? When they...
Dude, I'm paying attention to the main thing on the screen, and he's watching the 7 things in the background
so
going on.
One of the things I noticed was when the kids are first introduced across the street doing their little show, the fat kid is supposed to be dressed up as a dragon, and he's actually dressed up in the exact same colors and orientation of Boris.
Yeah, the blue and yellow stripes. That's again, this was probably just a fever dream. He was like he fell asleep in an alley somewhere because
he ran
full
full speed into a brick wall in an alley, and the kids kept doing their show.
I feel like he ran to the pier, screamed, started crying, and you can cry yourself to sleep, so he fell asleep there, and then just had a fever dream. Because, I mean, weren't they also telling the story of a dragon pulling an island out of the sea? So, like, literally everything that happened on his magical journey was, like, reminiscent of something that happened in real life just before he ran away.
Yeah, that's true.
Kazin, no, it was all real. It's like, but how do you know? The freaking closing line is like, now you may believe dragons are just nothing, but if you listen real carefully, maybe you'll hear, and then it just has the dragon whistling. It's like, I understand. I appreciate the attempt to be like, dragons are real and exist in a separate world from us. Trust me, I appreciate that. But I feel like this entire story was just was like, hey, here's a fever dream I had as a kid, and I'm going to tell my kid about it one day because I thought it was a good lesson, and then whatever, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, Bantam, X out of 10.
For the movie?
Yeah.
I will say 7 out of 10. It lost points for the ultra cliche, I'm going to say the most hurtful possible thing I can in this moment. And then the amount of time it took him to turn around and come back and apologize, like it was within 30 seconds. That's what it felt like. He immediately slid down the plant, started drowning, got rescued, looked sad for like 10 seconds, and then ran right back up and was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. It's like, you fucking... So it lost points for that, and it also lost points for the kids across the street.
I would give it a 4 out of 10, maybe a 3 out of 10. Like, it was enjoyable. Like, I don't regret having watched it, but there is, like, literally no reason to rewatch it for me. And it was definitely made for much younger audiences. Like, again, everything was predictable. There were a couple points that felt like this was such a leap that it's like, you're sitting there writing the script. Like, how do we go from D to E? I don't know, just do this. Like, oh, okay, I guess we'll just... they didn't struggle that hard to make sure everything flowed smoothly. Again, with the whole forest, you'll never be an After Dragon scene, right? I guess the question was always asked, would you live here?
No. Well, I'd live on the island. I'd live on Wild Island.
Not Nevergreen.
What a fucking like the name. It's Nevergreen Island.
What a fucking Dr. Seuss name
for a place of misery and God damn, though, the dragon is so cute.
I will admit the dragon was cute, but the I don't know. 4 out of 10 might be harsh. The takeaway is it was enjoyable, but I don't think I'll ever rewatch it. Like, ever. It was like, it's good to have seen it once, but eh.
Yeah. He was really cute. Yeah.
He was a lovable dog.
And I think I kind of had the same thought you did when he first started talking, was just like, oh my God, he's an idiot. And then it was like, oh wait, but he's...
It's the meme of like oh, look at this cute little whatever, and then it says something like, oh no, it's retarded. It's part of a meme. I can say it now. All right, any final thoughts? Are we done?
No, we're done.
Okay, all right, thank you for joining us for our double feature. We hope you enjoyed our discussions on this, and if you have any thoughts, if you want to yell at Ray, because Ray is really harsh, you can get in contact with us through several methods, some of which Bantam will list off right now.
I have this information prepared this time. So
we didn't do like 3 recuts just to get it to flow correctly.
Anyway, our Twitter is @officialwadpod. Our email is wadpodcastmail@gmail.com. We do have a Patreon at World of Dragons Podcast, and a Discord, which will be linked in the show notes.
Yeah, because Discord links are nightmares. All right. Next time, are we going to go with what I
we're going to go
pick?
with what you picked, because Dilettant's not here to fight against it.
He also may not even join us next time. We'll see if things clear up, but we'll find out. Next episode of World of Dragons podcast, we're going to be doing a book that very barely features dragons. I know, shocker. What? It's a little bit of a branch out. We're going to be doing the book Virtual Horizons. Someone ad-lib for a bit while I find out the author's name.
Virtual, the reason we're doing this is because I'm the only one here. So the reason we're doing this is because it is a video gamey sci-fi book where the main character becomes a griffin.
Yeah, so like we're all about dragons. We love dragons, but there are things that are dragon adjacent. Griffins being one of them that I feel like they're close enough. They still tickle the non-human point of view aspects kind of stuff, right? I feel like that's close enough. So we'll do Griffin books every now and then. There's going to be a book where it's all where the main character's a snake. We'll probably do eventually. It'll be fun, right? But yeah, Virtual Horizon, which is the first of the Thousand Tales book series, by Chris Schnee. So in this, the main character plays a video game where he can be whatever he wants, and he makes a Griffin character. And if at some point throughout the book, he ends up uploading, which is he kills his real life body to transfer his mind into the game, and he can now be the Griffin forever. I want to do this book now because Bantam has mentioned in previous recordings a lot of things that are tackled in this book, because this book talks a lot about the ethics and morality of permanently uploading into a video game world, and the kind of just the baggage that comes with that.
Yeah, there were a lot of... He was listening to it while we were at work, and every once in a while he'd be like, all right, I have to tell you about this one little scene because you would love this part, you would do this. And yeah, we talked a little bit about it, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'll probably like this book.
So the reason I love this book is because it talks about the morality of permanently uploading, of giving up on the real world, giving up on your human life to live in this fantasy world, to no longer be human, to give up your humanity, and the concept of, is that really you, or is that just a machine that's programmed to think like you? Like it kind of touches on the soul aspect a bit.
Transhumanism is a bit of a theme in it too. From what
yes.
little he's told me, it definitely pick up on transhumanism stuff, which I love transhumanism.
Yes. It says it's book 1 of 10.
Holy
however,
shit.
From what I can tell, the 10 books are only very faintly linked to each other. They do not follow the same characters. Each book follows a different character with a different story. It's just they all have to do with this virtual world that was created
Jason
in the
disappointed
whatever.
me, like,
I know. I like long series
No.
too. If they were all the same character, I probably would have read all 10 of them by now. But from what I could be wrong, from what I understand, they are very loosely related.
10 books, and I just like immediately fold in on myself like that.
Just wait till we get to the 9-book series for Temeraire. But yes, that's what we're going to be doing next time. It is available on audio in audiobook
Thank
format.
God.
On Audible.
Yeah, so one thing, I wanted to extend a thank you to Tree Cynics for trying to be helpful with announcing what we're doing next, which, by the way, make sure you write that in the announcements or whatever for coming up, so for people who don't listen to this. But
people who can read along.
But I loved how Tree Cynics tried to help, because like, we were like, we're finally going to get to do Bantam's book, which is a physical book, the Dragon at War series. But even I am having trouble just reading a book.
Even Bantam
even
gave up
I
on
gave up on it, because it was like, it's such a big book and there's so many of them, and knowing if even I couldn't get through my own book, the one that I really wanted to read, is that difficult. I knew Dilettante wasn't gonna, and so we put it off because vacation, and then we put it off because this, that, and the other. We just keep putting it off
because COVID.
And it's like, it'll get done eventually. It's probably going to be one of those things though, where I'm going to read it in my free time, finish it, and then say, okay, we can talk about it, because I know that Ray can get through it. And then whether or not Dilettante's there, we'll just, sit him down and talk at him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's it. We'll see you next time.
Yep. Thank you for coming, and we'll see you again.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.